All right, welcome. I am probably proper, and I wanted to talk today about some of the game announcements that happened last week. Last week we had State of Play, the Summer Games Fest showcase, we had the Xbox Game Showcase, and we also had Nintendo Direct. So yeah, lots of very exciting games that came out last week. And I just kind of wanted to, I'm not going to talk about every game that was announced, but I wanted to talk about quite a few that, I'm excited for and that I'm looking forward to. First one we're going to talk about is Wolverine. Wolverine's combat looks amazing. I love the way it looks bloody. It looks action packed. It looks high octane, looks very fast paced. I like that they're incorporating some of the other X-Men, it seems like, with like Sabretooth and Omega Red. Perhaps there was a Deadpool that we saw in there. And, obviously Jean Grey being in the scene where they showed her assisting him in the fight. But yeah, another thing about this game that looks really that I think is really cool is the sound design. The sound design sounds amazing. Like the way his claws sound when he's bringing them out, and the way they sounds when he's slicing fools' heads off and stabbing them in the face. It sounds, the punches sound heavy, the claws sound slicey. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, no, it's cool. I'm excited for that one a lot. And the music sounds amazing too already, even just from the trailer. I'm a really big music guy in general, and in games, when the score really accentuates the story and the combat that's going on, it really kind of brings together the whole thing. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to everything about that game. Insomniac, I have trust in them. I love the Spider-Man games. I love Ratchet and Clank. The newest one that they came out with was amazing. And I'm hoping they go back to Ratchet and Clank at some point. I think they said that they're working on some kind of next title for that, but yeah, whenever they get to that, I'll be looking forward to it. But whatever they do, I'm there for it. So looking forward to that. And then next up we have God of War La Fey. Now this one's been getting a lot of attention online, a lot of discourse. And I gotta say, man, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that people are upset about a game coming out where you play as a woman, but I really don't have a problem with it. I'm really excited for it. I think Faye is a fucking badass character. Her presence permeates throughout the entirety of the Norse saga when it comes to the Norse saga of God of War and Kratos and Atreus. Her death is really what kicks off those games and kind of sets them on their path. And I think it's a really great idea to be able to experience her and what she is like outside of their. I think it's exciting to be able to experience her character outside of what she is to Kratos and Atreus. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just seeing her from our lens and from their lens, we actually get to see her be herself in her own character and what she's like in her own thoughts and feelings and personality, instead of just all in retrospect. So I think that's really interesting. Like I said, her presence permeates throughout the entirety of the Norse saga, so it only makes sense, to be honest. But yeah, honestly, I feel like if you're knocking down the game for being able to play as Faye, then you're not really a true fan of the Norse saga, because like I said, her presence is felt throughout those games. So yeah, it just makes sense for us to be able to play as her. And when it comes to them still having the God of War name attached to it, I don't really mind that either, because I saw a comment somewhere that said like with Halo Reach is probably one of the last Halo games we remember that we really think of fondly and talk about fondly, and Master Chief is nowhere to be found in that game. So I think studios have the right to experiment with their IP. You know what I mean? We've gotten 7, 8, 9 games as Kratos now. So I think it's fair to give them a shake at doing something different. And I like when studios do things that are different. I like when they are creative and they do things that surprise me. And this game looks like it's going to be a big surprise. Her combat looks amazing. The story looks like it'll be interesting. They're in the Everywen, the afterlife of the gods, which was a big question in the Norse saga of games. The whole thing that Odin was working towards was, what happens to gods when they die? And I guess we're going to find out. So, but like, I don't know. Can they die after that? Is there another afterlife after the afterlife? I don't understand. You know what I mean? So like, I'm curious where the danger is going to come from in the combat. You know what I mean? Because like, how can we die if we're already dead? If that makes sense. So yeah, just I'm looking forward to it. I trust Santa Monica Studios. They've put out banger after banger after banger when it comes to the God of War games. So it's just I have no doubt that they're going to put out something amazing. Um, and then next up I want to talk about is Alien Isolation 2. I love survival horror and I love Alien Isolation. I only played it last year for the first time, but it was an amazing experience and I cannot wait to play this sequel. I guess I played it at a good time because the sequel comes out, hopefully I think sometime next year is what they were saying. So that'll be exciting. I love the Alien franchise. I've seen all the movies. I even like Alien 3. I think that game gets shit on a little more than it really needs to. I even like the one that came after that. I don't even remember what it was called, but yeah, I like all the Alien movies. If only we could get a really good Predator game to go along with it, that would be sick. I think in the movies they're kind of building up to another Alien versus Predator type thing. Hopefully, maybe we can get a nice redo of that. I think that'll be really fun. But yeah, no, this game looks awesome. I love the survival horror elements. From when I was just watching from another IGN video, there's going to be like the internal spaces and the kind of outside spaces, and I'm interested to see how the tension and horror will change from environment to environment. Because the first game was all on a ship, so there's already that claustrophobic nature of being on a ship. So being out in the wild with like forests and trees, and in the dark, I'm curious how they're going to incorporate that into horror elements, because that lends itself to horror right there. In a wide open space, it's like I feel like there's like pros and cons to each, because like when you're in a confined space, it's like, oh, I'm trapped in here with this thing. But like when you're outside, it's like, I guess there's another sense of safety where it's like you can kind of go anywhere in any direction that you need to find safety. But at the same time, it's like you have no idea where the enemy could be, and there's no confined space for you to know like where they could possibly be. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting. And then next up, we have Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I was extremely happy to finally see the third installment of this game get announced. I went to what was it? The Anime and Video Game Expo at the Washington State Fairgrounds back in February, I think it was. But yeah, I actually got to meet the cast of the Final Fantasy VII crew. I don't think Cloud was there, but Zach, the voice actor for Zach, was there. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he was so incredibly nice. All of them were so nice. I got them all to sign my copy of Rebirth. So that was really, actually, let me show. I'm gonna take this moment to show that off. I was able to get a signature from Aerith, Tifa, Barrett, and Zach. I kind of had them send them in different colors according to like their characters. So I was really happy that I was able to get that and to meet them. And they're all, like I said, they're all incredibly nice. They were all really fun to talk to. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Revelation. The gameplay looks fun as always. I'm excited to be able to play it. I'm excited to be able to play as Vincent and Sid. And I haven't played the original Final Fantasy VII yet. I know I'm slacking on that, but I'll get around to it eventually. But I am just such a huge fan of these new games. I'm really into them. I got the Platinum for Remake. Hopefully I'll get the Platinum for Rebirth soon. Maybe we'll do that on the channel. We'll see. Because it won't be a complete playthrough because I've already done a lot of it. Yeah, it looks like the most expansive game they've made yet. It's going to be an epic finale to the trilogy, and I just can't wait to play it next year. That's going to be an amazing game. That's probably going to end up being my game of the year next year. And then next up we have Blood of Dawnwalker. This is another game I've been looking forward to for quite a while now. I've been following this game since PAX West last year. I went to PAX and I actually got to take a photo with some of the devs that were there. They had this little photo thing with like a chalice. Maybe I'll put it up here. Yeah, It's made by ex-Witcher devs. I haven't played the original Witcher, but I've played Witcher 2. I've played Witcher 3. I love both of those games. I haven't played the DLC for the Witcher 3 yet, but that's something I'll get around to since they also just announced that they're going to be putting out a new DLC for Witcher 3. Freaking what? 12 years after the game came out? That's incredible. But yeah, Blood of Dawnwalker looks really fun. The combat looks amazing. The open world looks amazing. I think the story sounds really interesting. I've always been more of a werewolf guy, but I also just like supernatural things in general. So I think the vampire aesthetic and kind of the different take they're doing on it, where like during the day you're kind of got your human power, you're just kind of a human with regular abilities, and then at night you're a vampire with your vampire abilities. So that'll be really fun to play and experiment with. And then in the trailer we got at Summer Games Fest, they showed like some kind of present day aspect to it, and I think they were saying that's coming in a future game. I don't think that's going to be in this game. I could be wrong, but I'm excited to see that a studio has a vision and that they're going to execute that vision, and that we have something to keep looking forward to. So what the heck? What just happened? Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there. It's been actually a few hours since that cut. I took my dogs out for a walk, came back. Yeah, as I was saying, Blood of Dawnwalker, really looking forward to it. That's exciting to also be playing in September. So we'll probably squeeze in our playthrough of Wolverine before we get to Blood of Dawnwalker. But yeah, up next on our list, I want to talk about is Gundam. What was it? It was what was it called? Gundam Rogue Orbit. I'm actually a massive Gundam fan. I've seen quite a few of the anime. I've seen mostly Universal Century, the original main timeline. So I still have quite a bit to watch in terms of the other series and timelines. There's a lot of Gundam out there. I have a couple of figurines I've built as well. But yeah, no, massive Gundam fan. I'm also a really big Armored Core 6 fan. I have not played the other Armored Core games, but I have played Armored Core 6. And this looks like they took the gameplay from Armored Core 6 and made it with Gundams. I do wish the Gundam models looked a little more like the traditional Gundam, figures and models. But I'm so happy that this game looks super fun. Gundam is an anime that's had so many different iterations. I really don't mind them doing another new iteration with these new types of Gundam. But yeah, that's another one I'm really excited for. We saw a really small amount of gameplay, but like I said, it looked like it was Armored Core with the Gundams, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then, oh my gosh, the Code Veronica remake. Oh man, this one is massively exciting for me because I've been playing the Resident Evil games on my channel, as some of you may know if you watch my videos. Check those out. But yeah, we're in the middle of our Code Veronica original 2000 game playthrough, and I was hoping they would announce this at the Summer Games Fest, which they did, so that way I could continue with our Resident Evil series, and because Resident Evil Code Veronica was the next game in the series that I was planning on playing anyways, so it just kind of worked out perfectly. But I think this looks great. From the little few hours I've already played of the original, I'm already really excited to see where it goes with the remake and how they reimagine it and kind of like, bring some of the elements of the original game to the modern day. Especially with what's his name, Alfred Ashford. That dude's fucking crazy with his little like dolphin laughs and shit. He's wild. The voice acting in the original is crazy, so I'm really looking forward to them updating that for a modern audience. But yeah, no, Resident Evil, Capcom have been killing it these last few years. I'm a huge fan of the remakes, which got me into the series, and then I went back and I played the originals, and it just solidified for me why this series has been around for 30 years and why it's still going strong. And I love to see Capcom giving them love. If only they could give Devil May Cry some love. But yeah, Resident Evil still going strong. If we got Resident Evil 9 this year, Code Veronica remake next year. Maybe we'll see the Resident Evil 0, I think, remake that's supposed to be happening the year after that. At this rate, it feels like we're going to maybe be getting a Resident Evil game every year, and I am not complaining about that. So yeah, I'm excited for the future. And let's see here. After that, Until Dawn 2. Yeah, Until Dawn, another game I'm really happy or about. I've played a lot of Until Dawn. I want to get the platinum for it eventually. I think I'm close. I think I kind of fucked up on my last playthrough I did of it, but to see Until Dawn 2, I kind of wish it was like a true sequel with the same characters. I think that would have been really interesting, but I guess you can't really do that because it kind of they'd have to pick a canon ending, for who lives and who dies for the original game if they were to do something like that. But I like the actors they saw in this one. I think I recognized at least Hannah Keppel from Cobra Kai, and then I also saw Dacre Montgomery from Stranger Things. I saw he made a post on Instagram as well about it, how he's been a longtime gaming fan, and how excited he is to be a part of Until Dawn. But yeah, I love that style of game. I love the quarry. I loved the playing of like being in a horror movie and you kind of get to pick and choose who lives and who dies and trying to get everybody to live, or other playthroughs where everyone dies. In the quarry you could do a playthrough where everyone turns into a werewolf. Spoilers. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this next title. That's also coming in 2027. So I think 2027 is going to be pretty stacked for us. Particularly in the horror genre. 'Cause I mean, what so far we've got Alien Isolation 2, uh, Blood of no, Code Veronica, Until Dawn 2. The next game I'm gonna talk about, which is Ill. Ill looked ill, dog. Oh man, that game looks crazy. Another horror type game with lots of visceral gore and violence. Right up my alley. That's gonna be another great one. Hopefully, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how it plays because it was very like first person. I don't remember if I saw like weapons in it or not. I don't. Yeah, it's a totally new title. I love to see um, a new entry in the survival horror genre that's completely outside of traditional franchises and series we've already seen. Looks like it's going to be super creative and kind of hopefully breaking new ground in that space. So another one to look forward to. We got The Last Ronin, TMNT. I haven't been the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, but I am a fan. Um, The Last Ronin is a comic series I haven't read yet, but I think it sounds super dope. The concept is awesome. It's very dark and mature, and I love when series are able to take their franchises and do something like that with them. Something kind of outside the box, and I think The Last Ronin is really going to fit that. The combat should be awesome. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, come on now. And then if they were to incorporate all of their fighting styles into The Last Ronin, which I think is Mikey, I can't remember, but yeah, no, it's gonna that should hopefully be good. It's being made by Platinum Games. Platinum Games. I haven't played their games, but I've always seen them be bangers, in terms of like the action gameplay, and so I have no doubt they're gonna do justice by The Last Ronin. And then Clockwork Revolution. This is another one that's uh I'm really excited for. I mean, all of these things on the list I'm excited for. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that this video, but there are just so many good games that were announced this last week. It's kind of insane. There is so much to be looking forward to. Really, really across every showcase, they showed so many exceptional titles that just look like they're going to be absolute bangers. And Clockwork Revolution absolutely fits that mold. It's another RPG from I think it's from inXile. I could be getting that wrong. I haven't played their games before because I'm not really into like the top down type view. Like I think with Wasteland and stuff. But it looks like another kind of Bethesda type RPG. It's got some wibbly wobbly, tiny wimey stuff going on in it. I think that's really interesting. I like the cyberpunk aesthetic they've got going on with it. Not cyberpunk, steampunk, steampunk aesthetic they got going on with it. Different kind of punk. Uh, but yeah, I love immersive RPGs with consequence and choice. Just adds replayability to it. And it's an Xbox exclusive, so that's really interesting. I don't have an Xbox. I have a PC. I imagine it's going to be available on PC the way Xbox likes to release their games. So yeah, that's another conversation to have about Xboxes. I'm really glad they're going back to exclusivity. I understand people's takes where they like games to be multi-platform because it brings in the most amount of people to play the game and bring them in. But I think if you're going to have a brand and you're going to, want to bring people to your brand and have a platform, you kind of need to have exclusives. So, I mean, and I think, um, like what Asha Sharma and the other leaders at Xbox were really hinting at was that they really want to keep up player retention. They've had a long standing player base for the last 25 years, and with exclusives like Halo, Gears, Forza, um, and probably some others I'm forgetting, but Halo and Gears are really the main ones that I play. But I thought it was a real shame. Like it was I had mixed feelings when they brought Gears and Halo over to PlayStation because it's like, wow, it's really a different era when they start bringing over their exclusives to other platforms. But I think this is a really nice return to form for them. Bringing back exclusives. I think Clockwork Revolution is going to be a big hit for them, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then during the Xbox showcase, they also showed off Spyro. That's also really exciting. I played a little bit of the Reignited trilogy. I got to go back and play those. Maybe we'll do that on the channel. But Spyro was a game I always saw when I was a kid and really wanted to play because I've always fucking loved dragons. Dragons are just like the coolest thing to me ever. And I just never really got a chance to play them when I was younger. So to the fact that we're getting a new Spyro after like what 20 years, something like that, is insane. And I think that was actually one of the most popular and most viewed trailers to come out of the Xbox showcase. So that's really exciting. And then Doom, the Doom DLC was finally revealed. They've been working on this for what, a year now? Doom: The Dark Ages, really good game. I had a lot of fun with it. I haven't played it since it came out, but I definitely think it's the weakest of the three to come out recently of Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and Doom: The Dark Ages. Well, actually, maybe I might put it above Doom 2016. I don't know. I'd have to play them all back to back to really make a decision on that. But still, they've been extremely consistent with the Doom games these last few years. I have played the original. I've played Doom 1 and 2. I haven't played Doom 3, but I have played the first two. And playing the modern games and going back and playing the originals, it felt like I really understood how the modern games are really just an updated version of the older games. Like it's literally like the exact same gameplay style, but just like updated. And I think that's really cool. And I have no doubt they're going to deliver with this new Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations DLC. Maybe we'll play that on the channel as well next month. I don't think we got a whole lot going on next month besides more Resident Evil games. So yeah, Doom, always one of the most consistent series in gaming, and yeah, just another great thing to look forward to. And then we have Metro 2039 that got pushed back to 2027, unfortunately. I'm a huge Metro fan. I've played all of them. I've played, 2033, Last Light, Exodus. I loved Exodus. Exodus might be one of my top 10 games of all time. Don't quote me on that, but it might be up. It's pretty high up there. I think it's an exceptional game. I love that the graphics are intense and insane and super immersive. Some people didn't like kind of going to the surface and like kind of losing some of that claustrophobic feeling of the Metro. And I can understand that, but for me, I thought it was a natural evolution of the series, and the story was still bang on, great. I love the characters. We're not playing as Artyom this time in 2039 though, so I think that's going to be a really interesting shift. And it looks like a previous protagonist, I think Hunter, is going to be the main antagonist, like leader of the Reich or whatever. So I really liked what the developers had to say too when they first revealed it a few months back, where they were saying that like after the war in Ukraine broke out, they completely scrapped what they were doing before, and they were like, we have to make a game that's true to us and true to our reality. And I love when creators are able to put themselves into their work, and I think that's going to make this project all that much stronger for it. And I'm just a sucker for a great story, a great immersive story with good characters, mature storytelling, and that's what Metro has really always been. So I think this is just going to be another great installment in that franchise. And then Plague Tale, the new Plague Tale game. I've played the previous Plague Tale games. I do enjoy them. I guess I'm kind of looking forward to this new one, but I'm kind of mid on this one. I think the combat looks really interesting, but it's a prequel. I was kind of hoping they would go forward in time, because at the end of the last game, they kind of teased like way far in the future, which I thought was really interesting. Which is interesting because it as well with like Blood of Dawnwalker, because they're kind of doing the same thing, where like they're telling like a past medieval story and then like kind of bringing it forward the story forward through time into the future or present day. So that'll be really cool to see. I wonder if they'll ever do that with another sequel for the Plague Tale series. So I guess time will tell. Which is another point I wanted to bring back to about LaFay earlier, which is, off topic, kind of going back, but people upset that Lao Fei is the main character of this one. Like, they're gonna make more God of War games, guys. Like, we just got the original trilogy that was just announced earlier this year that's gonna be remade, and we still have to continue Kratos' and Atreus' story. If they made an Atreus game, I doubt anybody would be complaining. There people really are just complaining because it's a woman, and I think that's really sad because I feel like we need more strong women protagonists in gaming. We've gotten buff dudes walking around kicking ass for like 20, 30 plus years at this point. So I think it's time to give women their heyday, and I have no problem with that. But anyways, continuing on, Halo, we got Halo Campaign Evolved coming out next month. We'll definitely be playing that on the channel because I do have a PS5, and I think it'll be crazy to just even experience Halo on a PlayStation. It looks amazing as well. Combat Evolved is the Halo game I've played the most. So I'm excited to play the campaign again. I don't really like the naming scheme of it, how they just made it Campaign Evolved. I really would have liked it they just kept it as Combat Evolved, but I can kind of understand it, But it's kind of weird they're not going to have multiplayer in it. You know what I mean? That's always been a huge part of Halo. But yeah, no, that looks amazing. That's going to be great. Hopefully, hopefully it's able to capture that original, feeling of the original game on Xbox. I wasn't really. I mean, I was alive back then, but I was like, what, 2, 3 years old when the first Halo came out. So, most of my experiences with the remasters and the remakes. So, yeah, I think that's going to be great. And then we have the Dusk Bloods. I don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 yet. I really want to get one. We'll see if I'm able to get one by the time the Dusk Bloods comes out sometime. It's supposed to be coming out this year, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I really like to get a Switch 2 so I can play some of those Switch games that were announced. This is gonna be surprising, but I've never played a Zelda game before, so maybe that could be something we can do on the channel too. But the Zelda games also look great. The Nintendo Direct looked like a lot of fun. I'm sure Nintendo fans are going nuts right now. I'm mostly a Pokemon fan. That's really the kind of games I stick to when it comes to Nintendo. But yeah, the Dusk Bloods, I'm like really surprised is a Nintendo exclusive. But it looks like they're kind of tapping back into that Bloodborne energy, which I'm really excited for because I love Bloodborne. I tried doing the 60 FPS mod on our channel, but that didn't really work out, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll be able to play Dusk Bloods on the channel. We'll see what happens. And then Final Fantasy Resonance was another kind of game during that showcase that looked really interesting to me. The closest to an HD 2D game I played is Replaced, and that's also on the channel. Check that out. That came out earlier this year. That's like a HD. It's like a 2.5D kind of HD kind of game. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, this Final Fantasy Resonance game, I think it's based on some mobile game that came out fucking forever ago. I don't fucking know. But it looked really cool and fun. So yeah, that's always good when games look cool and fun, right? And then finally, I want to talk about Gears of War E-Day. Wow, man, this game looks incredible. I am a massive Gears fan. I say that, but I haven't even played all of them because I haven't played Judgment. But I have played, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Still waiting for that sequel to 5 for Gears 6 to come out. But I'm okay with them coming out with a prequel going back to E-Day because I think that's a really interesting time period to put them in. It lets us get more of Marcus and Dom, the dynamic duo, seeing how their relationship and friendship kind of came about and how they became brothers. So the graphics look amazing. The gameplay looks extremely fun. It'll be interesting to see how, the gameplay changes since they're going back in time, you know what I mean? So it's like you can't really how they accommodate for, not being able to do all the things you could probably do in like the current day, Gears of War, like, when the previous games came out, you know what I'm trying to say. So I'm interested to see how they do it. Cause like similarly with like, Arkham Origins, after we had already come out with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, they had come out with Arkham Origins, which went backwards in time. So they had to find a way to let you do the same abilities that Batman was already doing, but like in a prototype kind of way, if that makes sense. So I'm interested to see if they do something similar to that with the Gears of War E-Day. But yeah, that's another one I'm really excited for. Another one they're going back to exclusivity for Xbox. You can play it on PC, which I will be playing it on PC. Hopefully, I can play with my buddy Jordan. He's another big Gears guy. But yeah, Gears of War is back. I think it's going to be bigger than ever. Got classic characters. Ty is back. Oh man, it looked so incredible. But yeah, no, that's the probably, you know, at the top of the list of what I'm excited for. I'd say top 3 games. We'll go with top 5. Top 5 games I'm looking forward to out of this last week's summer showcases. I'll say Gears of War E-Day. Gears of War E-Day. Let's see. Resident Evil Veronica. Alien Isolation 2, Wolverine, and God of War La Fey. That's my top 5. Those are all gonna be incredible games. So yeah, let me know what games you guys are excited for. We got lots to look forward to. I'm so excited. Gaming is in a really good spot right now. You know, I hear all the time of like, oh, gaming isn't as good as it used to be, and oh, gaming's falling off. And like, I think in some aspects that's true, but like every year there are so many games that come out that prove that wrong. You know, 2023, we had one of the best years of gaming in like ever. And so I'm hoping this trend continues where we just continue to get great games. Of course, there's going to be flops here and there. Not everything's going to be a hit banger. Not everything's going to freaking, knock your fucking socks off. But I think there's still plenty to be excited about, plenty of reasons to be a fan of gaming, and plenty of reasons to love games. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're excited for. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Probably Proper, and don't forget to tuck your homies in tonight. All right, have a great night, guys. Bye.